probably at this time it would be good to have, since we're not all together, I would like the other people that are in the room to also introduce themselves. Carl, would you start?
Yeah, I'm Carl Anderson from the Attorney General's office, and I'm counsel for the council.
I'm Casey Robb in Industrial Siding Division. I also work in bonding.
Kimber Wickman, Industrial Siding.
Brian Lovett, Industrial Siding Administrator.
Andrew Coleman, the Attorney General's office, representing the Industrial Siding Division.
And we also, so that's all in the room. We do have a couple of members of the public, and would ask that they introduce themselves as well.
My name is Jay Lilligraven. I live in Laramie. I'm just an interested citizen.
I'm Linda Lilligraven, also an interested citizen.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so the next order of business is to review the minutes from the last meeting and move to approve. Does anyone have any? First of all, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second, anybody?
I'll second.
Mr. Chairman, I do have a couple questions about the minutes.
Right, and I was thinking we would do that in discussion and do the amendments.
Okay.
Is that okay? I mean, we can do it either way, but since I've started the motion, Jim, let's finish with that. So
okay, that's fine.
And then you have, now you've got to go ahead and make your comment, please.
Okay, first comment is under construction updates, paragraph 1. What does MDPL mean, or is that a mistype?
Yeah.
It should be. This is Kimber from Industrial Siding. It should be Medicine Bow Fuel and Power. It should be MBFP.
Yeah. Should it be Medicine Bow Fuel and Power MBFP?
Correct.
Yes.
Good. Great.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The second comment I've got is under the proposed rule revision number 3. That first sentence in item number 3 doesn't quite make sense. It doesn't have some connecting words or something there.
Tim, I would like to comment that the word precede in that sentence should be proceed.
So it would read, this office proceed forward needs to be written. It's still not quite smooth.
You could even ditch forward, if I'm understanding the sentence. A letter to the governor asking that his office proceed needs to be written. That's a sentence.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I would suggest we eliminate forward.
All right. And fix the typo, right?
This is Carl from the AG's office. In fact, I think I would change his to this office because actually, technically, the governor is permitting the council to move forward with its rule promulgation. It's not really the governor's office that's doing it.
Chairman, I would also have a question.
Yes, sir.
Back on page 1, last paragraph, 3rd line. I think that should read, staff commented that there is, not this, is a 1 month delay.
Staff commented that there is some 1 month delay. Okay. All right. Anyone else?
And Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Ken Lanta. Real minor one. First word in Roman numeral 3 paragraph proposed rules. My last name is misspelled. It's missing a T.
Where is it?
It's in Roman numeral 3 proposed rule revision. Mr. Lanta moved and it's misspelled.
You have 1 T, not 2?
It needs to be 2.
On my copy has 2.
Okay. You have a different,
I have my version. What happened? Did somebody change it?
It should be what was sent in. You want me to?
well, let's see.
No, see, I think it's noted to authorize you to proceed.
So Kimber, was Dick's document, because he sends it to you, did you then
Yes.
just transcribe it and copy it over? I mean, not copy it, obviously, because it's got a lot of format issues.
Yes, we format it, and then we also look at the transcript to clear up any discrepancies.
Did you make changes?
We did make, well, we have ones that we're going to suggest today. One was that Mr. Coleman was not in attendance, but we don't
So that,
change it unless we okay it with you. So we send what we're given, and then we mention any changes that we need. So up where it has the
Yep, I
participants,
see it.
just
Okay,
Andrew
so
Coleman
that's
would be
out.
stricken.
All right. Okay, so let me just check something to make sure. Council members on the phone, a good way for me to know what you are looking at would be to go to Romanet 3. And do you see a format issue in Romanet 3? In other words, if I draw your attention right above the number 1, do you see where there's an indentation of 2 lines?
Yes.
Okay, so Susan, you've got the copy I'm looking at, and the
Same.
copy that Kent is looking at. And how about the
One
copy
to you
that
and
the
the
division's
copy,
looking
yes.
at? Okay, how about the other 2 members on the phone?
I have those last 2 lines indented right above the
Got it. Okay,
number 1.
great. And Mr. Branchard, Pete? Okay. Well, on the assumption that Pete does, and Dick, you're now are looking at the copy that that the division gave us. So I'm going to ask for another change. You can scan it. I think probably we're okay now with the changes. And I think the division is recording the changes to the minutes based upon the copy that we have in front of us. So I think another change would be to fix the indentation, please. And also, I have another revision, and let me ask the question first. On item number 4, the council discussed a potential meeting of the Legislative Management Council regarding, and I think the Legislative Management Council should read the Joint Business and Business. It's a Joint Minerals Committee, I think, for shorthand would be good enough, because I think that's the committee that we're going before. But was there a Legislative Management Council reference? Does anybody recall from the last meeting? I'm not. I think that's been Minerals Committee all
I
along.
believe so.
All right, so if you change Legislative Management Council to, let's say, Joint Interim Minerals Committee, the committee actually has a longer title than that. So if I would just authorize you guys to fill in the other words. Another phrase in the title is business development. And so anyway. So anyone else have any changes to the minutes? I would entertain an amendment to the motion to incorporate all the changes as been discussed.
Jim Miller, I so move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it, Ken Lang.
Okay, any further discussion on the amendment? Okay, question? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, so now back to the main motion of approving the minutes. All as amended, all those in favor say aye.
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 Pete?
No, we've lost it.
Okay. We have lost him. I might send a text to Pete to see if we lost him somewhere. All right, so the minutes have been approved. Before we get to the next item on the agenda, Chad, is there anything you need to tell us about all these rock stars that are on TV?
This is a live recording right now on YouTube. And so anyone who has the URL that we are broadcasting from on the top can actually access this from the public around the world. It's open up worldwide right now.
Okay.
And it will be available. I've got Kimber so far included on the invite list. So she will be able to actually send it out, send that URL to anybody that you guys specifically needed to go out to after the meeting is done as well.
Okay.
So I was going to talk to Kimber to see if she can send me some of the people that are actually out on the phones, actually let them see this live as well. And like I said, knowing that one thing is we do these meetings and take these, there is a 40-second lag between what you're talking about here at the table and what they're actually seeing on the screen. So if they've got a question to what you're doing, in the future, they will just type in the chat when they're watching it. They'll just type in the chat what you're saying in order to respond, or with them on the phone, they can respond directly to what you're talking about. So just know that if you're in a bigger setting, the people that are actually listening know that they're going to see it.
They can see it on the computer and actually type in questions, and we'll see it on the comment tracker.
Yep.
I got it.
And there's just a lag between the audio and the visual.
Yes. Yep. Just between the audio and vision.
Now, Susan, do you have your computer up? Are you hooked into this?
Mr. Chairman, I am, and I hope I have the right URL because it keeps telling me that someone named Heather Kenworthy is speaking.
That is right. It's what it is. Heather and I share an account to start these videos. So you're right. Go ahead and accept that, and you should be able to see it then.
Okay, I'm seeing a purple field.
Purple field. Okay. Did you search for ISD Meeting in YouTube by chance?
I didn't.
Okay. If you search for that, you should be able to see. You should be able to see this.
Okay, because I think I'm probably looking at like
you're looking at the. Yeah, you're looking at. You're looking at my you're looking at the shared screen here. Let's see. If you type, let me relook at something here right quick on my settings.
Go to YouTube and look for
ISD Meeting. Do a search there, and you should be able to see.
I'm going to try that.
So in the future, would we have a URL that we can send out in advance, or is that assigned as you log in?
Yeah, we can, now that I know this is part of what I need to do today.
Okay.
Yeah, we can actually create this ahead of time and send that URL out, and then we actually start the meeting as soon as we get it started right away.
Or in the public notice.
Yep. Yeah, so we'll set it up in advance and make that part of the.
Yeah.
So Susan's working on it. Jim, how about you?
I'm just on the telephone.
Okay. Peter?
I didn't get a response either.
Maybe pulled away.
Yeah, I don't have a response. I sent it to his cell phone. So
okay, so no response. Yeah. All right. Okay, let's just take it, if you don't mind, we'll just take another moment to see if Susan can connect her.
Okay.
I am not finding this meeting on YouTube.
Okay.
Oh, it would have been the link I sent. Susan, I sent an email yesterday that would have had a link to the video conference.
Yeah, that's the one that gives me the home screen.
There's the purple screen as well.
Oh, okay.
Of the purple field and.
Oh, I think.
So she's seeing that.
I think she's seeing. I think you're seeing the computer thing.
Just leave it on. We share with her the screen. She should. Oh, because we don't have anything actually. Let me reshare the my computer. Hold on a second.
Is he gonna? Is he gonna be right back?
He's gonna share the computer with them, and I'd say it's really up to you. It's not video is not necessary, but
no, I was in And I was just using a little chairman's prerogative. This is the first time we've ever had this technology available to us, and I thought, we ought to at least give it a try to use it. So out there in the hinterland, we have one of 3 members that have checked in that are going to try to use it. So I would want that to continue. So let's go to the next item on the agenda. But Susan, if you don't mind, keep noodling on that, and Chad hopefully will have something available so you ultimately can check in. But I want to come back and see if this works before we adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. So the next item on the agenda then is the council update, be given by Administrator Lovett, and I think Kimber. This is our quarterly report. Would you like to begin? Oh, and by the way, I did not ask if there were any additions to the agenda. Let me ask you to stop there and let me correct mine. Does anyone have any additions to the agenda? Good. One addition I would like to make is a public comment. Since we have members of the public here, I think it's going to afford them an opportunity to speak. So if council's okay with that, we'll just add public comment to the before adjournment.
Jay, did you get a copy of the quarterly report? Okay.
Thank you. Great. Okay, thank you for that indulgence. So, Director Lovett, would you like to proceed with the?
Yeah. So you have your third quarter report in front of you, and we'll just walk through the projects. Medicine Bow Fuel and Power, as you know, is no longer a viable project. Permit termination notice went out on 6/27, based on failure to meet the requirements under the council's order.
Okay.
North American Power Grid 2L project, we have the petition for revocation you've seen. So we are working that process, and we will have the hearing at our next quarterly meeting in July.
Yeah, when do we have a date for that?
I believe it's October 4th, but I want to double check. Oh, all right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have it as a
October
6.
6th.
6.
October 6th.
October 6th is what I have on the calendar.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So we're proceeding on putting that information together,
Okay.
Working with Andrew and Carl. So.
And we'll have Deb Bomber.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been in here.
Yeah, we haven't got it.
Okay, great. Very good.
Pioneer Park Wind, we did go up, kind of a dual purpose meeting. We went up and met with county commissioners at Converse County a couple weeks ago just to discuss life in general with them, where we were at. One of the things we raised with them, we can talk a little bit more detail. We've had some inquiries on solar projects, so we wanted to make them aware of that. And they have been contacted as well. So that's one of them. Construction is going along at a rapid clip. We were privileged to go out in the field with the company, did a tour, and actually got to see them set an entire tower. They're putting up 2 towers a day right now. And two towers were delivered while we were there and unloaded, and 2 were set up that day.
That's hard.
So yeah, it's pretty impressive. I forget what they said. They were 4 days ahead of their schedule at the time we were there, and gaining almost daily because they had such good weather and things have been working out. So it was pretty impressive. Yeah. Yeah, Andrew can give an update on the appeal on that project.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Miller.
This is Jim Miller. I do have a couple comments or questions about the Pioneer Wind Park for the division. Should I ask that now?
Sure, anytime will be fine. I had a question too so go ahead, please.
Okay, the first inquiry is, how much impact assistance has been distributed to date?
Okay, total distribution through July was 387, 247, 48. 67% of that went to Natrona County, and 33% went to, or excuse me, 67% went to Converse County, 33% went to Natrona.
Okay, 387,000.
Correct.
Okay. Also, my next question is, what is the status of any court action from the
From the appeal?
yeah? Is there any action current in the court court system?
Yeah, Andrew can give us an update on that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Councilman Miller, the Northern Laramie Range Alliance and Foundation did appeal the council's decision. That case has been briefed with the district court. I believe a request was made for there to be oral arguments in front of the court on the briefs before the court makes a judgment. We're still waiting to find out when those oral arguments would occur. Or if the court decides not to have oral arguments, then the court might just issue an order based on the briefs. But it's still pending right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Any other questions on Pioneer Wind?
Okay.
Power Company of Wyoming, same status as last quarter. We did receive their updated construction schedule and approved that, and shortly after that was the discussion about taxation, and has kind of put them on hold briefly. So no change there that we're aware of.
Mr. Chairman, this is Jim Miller.
Yes, Jim.
I do have a question about Power Company of Wyoming. In the brief, in the minutes here, it said that there had been $1,304,000 distributed of impact money. The question I have is, what did Power Company of Wyoming do that initiated the impact payments?
Not sure where you saw that figure.
I saw that figure in the minutes of the last meeting.
Okay. Is that the estimate?
Yeah. On the minutes, page 2, up near the top.
Yeah, I gotta put it in context, because you're talking about Pioneer Wind.
Well, let's.
I can say that no impact assistance has been even initiated for Power Company of Wyoming, because they haven't commenced construction.
Right. That might pertain to the JRW.
I don't know, let me go pull the transcript, and that might help.
Yeah. I'll bet that's
Move on and come back to that.
Yeah, I think that's would be.
Okay, Simplot phosphates. Again, no movement there. Since we approved the amendment. So you can see the total distribution.
You know,
Mr. Chairman,
yeah, go ahead.
if you look at page 7 of the progress report where it shows the 1,300,000. That's the same number that's now in the minutes on page 2. So there's a crisscross there.
Okay.
In the minutes, you start the paragraph of Power Company of Wyoming, and then you have the amount really is Simplot.
Tied to the Simplot
So
process.
the minutes, like that now needs to, as you go through and look at the transcript, probably that whole paragraph right at the top of page 2 of the minutes. They need some.
Okay.
Got it.
And then, Mr. Chairman,
Mhm.
I guess then going back to the progress report for Power Company of Wyoming, we have in impact assistance, there's the distribution percentages, but if there has been $0 distributed, probably would be wise always in that impact assistance
To put a
paragraph
zero in there.
put 0 if it's 0, and then dollars when it's dollars.
Good suggestion. Brian, you can.
We'll do that.
This is Jim Miller. We probably ought to go back and revisit, or Mr. Chairman could authorize it, changing of the minutes. So it does not reflect that 1,300,000 for Power Company of Wyoming.
There's an overlap here.
Yeah, well, let me think about that and come back to it here in a minute,
This is
Jim.
related to.
We'll finish this
Okay.
segment of the agenda.
That's why I remember
Yeah.
25.
Okay?
Okay. Thank you. So, Brian, anyway, any I would like to just add on that just for informational purposes, and people may already be aware of this, but Brian, you were mentioning for Power Company of Wyoming, no progress because of the conversations around taxation of wind. Those conversations took place in Revenue Committee meeting, interim Revenue Committee meeting, just for your information, that I attended, and for other reasons. But it's interesting to see that the wind industry was not even there at the meeting to speak for itself. I think that will change. I'm pretty sure the wind industry will in fact be at the next Revenue Committee meeting. So anyway, that's and with Simplot. Simplot is rolling. They're we say nothing's changed there. That they are constructing and getting through things and making good progress. According to a personal conversation that I had with someone over there. Okay. So next, Brian, is Clorox.
Yep.
Okay.
We have the same, no action there, since the April 27th amendment. Their construction schedule is no later than September 15th to 17th, so we haven't seen any activity there. Okay, we do have the total distribution 0 up there. We'll do that on all of them from now on. Make a note of that. And then off of the project discussion, we've had a number of, as I said, two different solar projects with no real information on location or anything else, just some fishing. Have been in contact with us. Basically discussions on jurisdiction, what other regs might apply, those types of things. They don't appear to be jurisdictional for this body. And that was part of the reason we discussed them with the commissioners, and I'll do the same with Pete at the Wyoming County Commissioners Association. So counties need to be aware those facilities potentially have very significant impacts. They're basically no wildlife, no vegetation. And then when you put one of those in, that's all that's there. There are other concerns, just doing some research online with glare So setbacks and those types of things may be an issue, and we just told the commissioners that's something they as a body probably ought to be looking into, because they're going to need to be regulated under planning and zoning regulations, because they won't be covered in a lot of other places.
What were the dollar amounts kicked around? Just out of curiosity?
They didn't say, but from looking on the internet,
You don't
nowhere
think so?
near. I mean, it would take such a huge project to hit our limit. They just don't have that kind of cost associated with it.
Okay.
We've also had a number of meetings with the business council. One of them was a uranium conversion facility. Again, no site proposed or anything else, just what kind of rules would apply, what are the timelines to get those rules processes through, or permitting processes rather. Those, at least the preliminary discussion was it would be jurisdictional. And then I'd have to look at our rules as far as what we cover under those. So I know there are some special language related to that, I believe.
Hazardous waste. Which
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Hazardous
Hazardous
waste.
waste does trigger a process.
On the uranium. Say that again. Yes.
Hazardous waste, if there's any drill bits or things like that associated with uranium, usually falls under that umbrella. Just because we've looked at these sort of things before, so when we would know more about the facility, we know if it'd be triggered by something more than just our thresholds.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
There's several other groups of, this is group gas, by the way. There's several other areas that are subject to jurisdiction. Any commercial solid waste facility which receives over 500 short tons of waste per day would also be under the jurisdiction, as well as there are some facilities that deal with radioactive waste that are also qualified.
Okay, thank you.
And then, as you have seen in the paper, the interim storage of radioactive waste topic has been floated. So that's another one that we've had some discussions internally, maybe not related specifically to the council, but that's another potential.
Mr. Chairman, and a quick question with the solar, that's new for Wyoming, and you mentioned that there's lots of impact certainly to. I wonder if have you heard, is there any appetite on the part of anybody in the legislature to tighten up jurisdictional for solar has there been any discussion on that?
There hasn't been any discussion, but since we really haven't seen one here,
I've never seen one.
you know, that's kind of what drove the wind, was that we had a few and some problems were identified, so certainly possible. The other meeting I had with the business council was related to, it's a fuel additive, basically a replacement for ethanol. As far as the additive for gasoline, it's a syn fuel that's created with natural gas. At least that's what they were talking about at that time. You can basically produce it, I'm assuming, with any carbon source, but just a outreach, permitting timelines, jurisdiction. I don't believe it would be jurisdictional. I can't remember what they threw out for a number, but again, very preliminary, just kind of fishing meetings to get details about timelines and those types of things as far as them putting together a business plan. So anyway, a lot more contact with the business council in the last month or so than we've had in the past.
Okay. Anything else, Brian?
Well, then we have the rules package.
Before you leave the project status report, then I had one comment. It goes back to, or a question really. It goes back to North American Power Group 2 project. Sometime back, the division, and I think Kimber was who, that prepared, perhaps in the loop a little bit, prepared a pretty nice little timeline that tracked the milestone events of that project since it was approved back in 1997 or whatever. Yeah, that thing's up. Council members, there are some new council members, and what I don't know is if all of us, we all have that. Would you please send that out again to all the council members? Just, I think it'd be good as the council prepares for the upcoming hearing in October.
Is that in the petition letter? Or, oh, okay.
Right. All right. So, council members, any other questions relative to the project status?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
Mr.
Mr. Miller.
On syn phosphates, are they ahead of construction schedule?
I have not gotten, well, I have it in, I haven't reviewed their last quarterly report because it came in after this, but I'll be able to answer that at your next meeting.
Okay, good.
Okay, that's all I had on that.
All right, great. Susan, Peter?
Yes?
Any comments on the project status report?
Not from me.
Okay, here, we're good. Okay, Brian, do you want to, are you going to move to rulemaking?
Yeah, and I'll turn that discussion over to Kimber and Casey since they've been carrying the water on that.
And Casey, I'll let you, this is something we've delegated to Casey to carry through, so I'll let him talk about the timeline.
Sure. Mr. Chairman, we've completed many of the preliminary initial stages, sent memos to.
Mr. Chairman, could he speak up a little better, closer to the mic?
And in person, please.
We sent some of the initial memos to the AG and the director, and it's currently at the governor's office. And it should be back on August 23rd, and then we can start the notice of intent, and which would start the comment period. And my understanding is that we're planning on a 60-day comment period, and although it's not required, we're also going to have a public hearing just voluntarily. We haven't scheduled that yet.
And I'll clarify on that. It's just a not a hearing, but a public place with a transcriptionist that people can come in if they want to in person. If they don't want to write comments, they want to come in person and comment. We will do that. We'll make that available to a date to be determined, but in that comment period, it will be up in Casper at the DEQ offices, and we will public notice that for anybody that wants to come in person and do their comments. So we've gotten through the first stages, and we hope to get the notice of intent out by September. Doesn't make sense.
Okay. All right. Very good. I would expect that one of the questions that we will get from the Minerals Committee will be about the changes to the statutes. So we should be prepared to get an update. Okay. Anything else on the update from the division? AGs? One? Council members, any updates that we have? Okay. Okay. Good. Mm-hmm.
It sounds like I think Susan's able to view, but we might check in with her.
Okay, Susan. Are you there? Oh, she's got it. She's muted. You can't hide.
This is where you have the 40-second delay.
Maybe it is.
Yes, yep, this as long as she's on one of the phones, she should be able to hear and still comment accordingly with the system. So let's say she didn't get in on the phone call and all she was listening to was just YouTube.
I'm here.
Okay.
Great. So, the,
But I'm afraid I can't be on the phone and the video without
Yeah,
making these noises.
Susan, in the video, mute button on the video screen. Then she should be able to be on the phone.
Susan, can you hear us?
did you hear Chad when he suggested
Can you see me now? Good. Trying to help you out here, Chad. Mr. Chairman, I just got emails from both Pete and Sean. They're both here. Pete says, I am able to hear the meeting fine, but outside of the discussion early in the meeting, I have not been able to communicate out. And then Sean says, I have the same problem. So just so you know, they're out there. I will. Yay. Not yet. Aye. Mr. Chairman, Susie concurs. Aye. Also move. The phone people are clamoring. Aye. Bye, everybody.
No, that's still good. You still got a few strings there. I got another 5 years out of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kimber, clarify. What are you going to hold in Casper relevant to public comments on a rulemaking?
We will take public comment on the proposed rulemaking at a location in Casper, but the date still has to be determined.
Okay.
Under the rules for making rules, there,
Yeah.
can you believe that?
Yeah.
There are extensive
Yeah,
rules on making
I'm
rules.
making rules, yeah, okay.
Of course, and
I'm
those rules had to
getting
go through the
that idea.
rulemaking
Yeah.
process as well, so, yeah, throw that into the mix, but under those rules, there is an option to hold a public comment period based on the number, Andrew, do you remember?
You mean a public comment hearing?
Hearing, that's right, and it's like, is it 20, or I can't remember what the threshold is.
Yeah, it allows the public to request a hearing to be held specifically to, or